Deontay Wilder has categorically stated that he is not willing to step aside and allow Stiverne to fight Vladimir Klitschko. And his business advisor, Al Heyman, I'm pretty sure, has advised him the same, to not step aside. Now, he could potentially get quite a lot of money from stepping aside and allowing Stiverne to fight Klitschko. But Wilder says he wouldn't be willing to do it unless it's crazy money, like $10 million. And the reason is very simple. If you're looking at this situation from the perspective of Deontay Wilder's team, like, for example, his business advisor, Al Heyman, why would you want to allow Stiverne to fight Vladimir Klitschko when he's probably going to lose to Klitschko? And then Klitschko's going to have that WBC belt. And you're going to have to go over to Germany. You're not going to have any negotiating power because you're not a champion yourself. Everything's going to be in Klitschko's favor. So why would you allow a situation like that to transpire when you have the opportunity to enforce your mandatory challenge, get Stiverne in the ring, which is it's a dangerous fight. Don't get it confused. I'm not saying Wilder's necessarily definitely going to win that fight, but it's a much more winnable fight than Vladimir Klitschko. Vladimir Klitschko is a far more dangerous opponent for Deontay Wilder than Stiverne is. Certainly, I'm sure Wilder's team feel that way. So, they definitely want to get Stiverne in the ring as quickly as possible because as far as they're concerned, that's the easiest way to a heavyweight title. And they don't have to go see Klitschko for nothing once they win that WBC title. They can hold on to that title. Klitschko has no say over who they fight next. And they can build Deontay Wilder up until they feel like he's ready and then have a clash, a unification with Klitschko. And they might have such a fan base behind them that they'll force Klitschko to come to the US. So from a business point of view, it makes no sense for Deontay Wilder at this stage to step aside and allow Stiverne to fight Klitschko. It makes no sense. It makes absolutely no sense. Therefore, they're not going to do it, and they are going to enforce the mandatory challenge, with whatever it takes. Now, I mentioned in a previous video that I do think there are people who Stiverne could fight, which Deontay Wilder and his team might allow. They might step aside for some other guys, not for Klitschko, but for maybe a lesser opponent. If Stiverne fights one of Don King's, ex-champions, someone like a Shannon Briggs or John Ruiz coming out of retirement or Nikolai Valoev coming out of retirement. I know these are shocking fights, all right? But this is Don King we're talking about, so he might make these kind of fights. If one of those fights takes place, I think Deontay Wilder's people might be willing to step aside because as long as he's still guaranteed a shot at the winner, then he might see it as, a worthwhile step aside because he's going to be getting paid for doing. He'll basically be getting paid twice for one fight. And let's say, Shannon Briggs managed to beat Stiverne. Is Shannon Briggs really much more dangerous than Stiverne? Maybe some people might think he's slightly more because he's a bit taller, but he's past his prime, way past his prime, way over the hill. Okay, John Ruiz, Nikolai Valoev, even David Haye. These are fights which I personally believe Deontay Wilder's team will be much more happy to take than a Klitschko fight at this stage. I'm not saying they're scared of Klitschko or nothing like that, but I think they feel that he's much more ready for the likes of a Shannon Briggs or even a David Haye, the worst case scenario. They feel like he's more ready for those guys than he is for Vladimir Klitschko. So yeah, this is why Wilder ain't going to step aside and allow the unification fight to take place. And I never expected it to. I could never see Vladimir fighting Stiverne next. That was something in my head I ruled out pretty early on. I can't see that happen. I don't think King really wants it. He'll only take that fight for Stiverne if he's really forced into a corner and there's nowhere else to go. And as we see now, Wilder's not going to allow it to happen anyway. So yeah, drop your comments below. Let me know how you feel about the situation. What do you think is going to happen? Do you think we're going to see Wilder against Stiverne next? Or do you think Don King is going to manage somehow to wrangle his way out of it and maybe get Stiverne a fight against a lesser opponent? Drop your comments below. Who would you like to see Stiverne fight next? And if Wilder don't manage to get Stiverne in the ring next, would you like to see Wilder take an interim fight maybe, or do you think he should just wait? So yeah, let me know how you feel. This is Hatman, I'm out.